Alright, this is Henry again, and I've got another work in progress video for my 1 to 100 scale Virgo. And first off, I do want to apologize for taking so long with this project. I realized that it's taking a lot longer than I initially planned, and I mean, it's just one of those things, real life gets in the way, and then even then when you do have time to work on it, sometimes you just don't feel like working, and just going slower than originally anticipated. But I am still working on the project and it is coming along. So anyway, let's take a look at what I've got done here. Move this out of the way. Here's the leg right here. And I can't remember if I showed the leg assembled in the last work in progress video or not, but there it is. This is about the stage the leg is at right now. And see, the foot, I don't think I've really done much to, because it was pretty much done in the last work in progress. The ankle armor I've shaped up quite a bit. It's much more refined than it was in the last one. As you can see, it's just going to kind of float loose like this. And I've got these two little circular molds right here that'll be glued onto the side, but I'm going to wait until I get everything nice and finished before I actually glue those on. Lower legs coming along. Let's see, actually I'm going to separate this knee right here. The lower leg, I've shaped it up, sanded it down a bit more, and I've added these pieces of armor to the sides right here. And the knee joint's the same as it was. I've just created a new knee armor to go on top of the underlying knee armor that you saw last time. This isn't the final form of it. I've still got to add a little bit of detail here on the sides, and then I've got these little round thingies right here that I've got to put on there, but the basic shape is there. And then this, I can't remember if I'd sanded this down in the last video or not, but this has all been sanded down, and the thigh is pretty much done. I've just got to do a little bit of like filling in imperfections and just polishing it and making it look perfect before it's done, as well as the other thigh as well. It's pretty much in the same place. Now you may be wondering, why have I got two thighs and only one lower leg and one foot? Well, this is going to be identical on both sides, so I'm just going to recast all this stuff in resin. The thighs were right and left specific, so I had to make one of each of those. Alright, let's see. Moving on up, here's the waist section. I'm basically going to be using Tall Geese's waist section, because Leo's waist section is very, very similar. Or, Leo, I meant Virgo. I filled in down here. It looks really rough right now. I gotta sand that and make it nice and smooth. Filled in those holes. Gotta add some detail to the back here and fill those holes in. But I've got a little thruster right here. This came off of the 1 to 100 scale serpent, and that's going to be glued on there. And then I've got the start of the I don't even know what to call it. This little piece that goes over the crotch thruster is basically going to go on like so. As you can see up here on the V8, which has the same exact waist section as the Virgo, starting to look pretty accurate. Let's see. Haven't really done much work on the torso, although I have cut the sides of the arm, well, not the sides of the torso really, off of the center of the torso. So it's originally going to be like that. I cut those off because I think it's going to be easier for me to work with those parts separately, just because of the design. As you can see on V8's torso here, how it's just designed that way. I think it'll be easier if I just separate those parts and work on them like that. Let's see, arms. I have done a bit of work on the arms. Here's the shoulder section. Now, the original 1 to 100 scale Tall Geese shoulder looked like this, but I thought it was a little bit small, so I basically took my epoxy putty and added a layer around the edge. In fact, let me set up this tripod so I can open this up and show it to you. Basically just added a 1 1.5, 2 millimeters, something like that, layer around the outside edge of that part. And I'm planning on recasting it like this in resin. Like, remove the polycap, and then I can recast these two parts, put the polycap in there when they're resin, and then just put them together. I'll have to fill in that seam line, but that shouldn't be too much trouble. I'll fill in that hole a little bit better down there, but basically I think that's going to work. My camera tilted, you can see my feet down there. Anyway, the upper bicep area is really rough right now. It's basically just a wad of putty and a little bit of plop plate, but I'm going to be shaping that up. You'll see that in the next work in progress. The elbow joint I've been working on. I actually spent a couple days working on this. It's the same exact concept as the knee joint I made, only a bit smaller. As you can see, I added some detail to the elbow joint. I basically looked at pt03's 1/100 scale box art and used the same elbow joint detail that was on there. And here's the lower arm. As you can see, it'll fit right, and I'll just glue that right in place, and that'll be your elbow joint. The lower arm I'm working on right now. I just put this putty right here. It's still, oh, it's hard, but it's not completely cured yet. I'll be shaping that up so it'll look a bit more like this forearm right here. As you can see, this lower part where I put this piece of white plop plate, that's pretty much done. And then as you can see, where this used to be a plastic part that was hollow, I filled that in with some putty, so that'll be nice and solid and make for easy resin casting. I forgot to show you the side skirt that was on the leg. This is a 1/100 scale Serpent's side skirt. I filled it in with putty. Had to sand it down quite a bit on the side so it would actually fit on the thigh. And basically I'm going to be sanding this down even smoother, adding some panel lines and details on it. And then I'm going to scribe in like some mechanical detail, maybe even do some vents or something on the underside. Just make it look nice. And I think that's about it. There's a little wrist thingy. I'm going to put that on the forearm, like right there. And then you'll have the hand, the bowl joint will just go through there. And I think that's about where I'm at. Let's see, one thing I do want to do really quick is take this leg and put it on here and just do a quick size comparison for you and just show you how it's matching up to another model kit. You know what, the side skirt's not even attached with anything. So here's my 1/100 scale B Club Leo, or it's supposed to be 1/100 scale, but it's not quite, but that's a completely another topic for a different video. Anyway, so here's Virgo's leg. As you can see, Virgo's a little bit longer, a little bit taller than Leo's leg, not by much, just by a few millimeters, but this Leo's actually a little bit shorter than he ought to be based on the measurements, so I think I'm about spot on with Virgo's leg height. And even then I'm going to be shortening this because as you can see, oops, as you can see, he's got this gap between the upper leg and the lower leg right there. I'm going to try and do some adjustments down inside that knee joint and get rid of that gap so it actually fits flush like it does on Mercurius and V8 here. See how there's barely any gap there at all? That's what I'm trying to go for. So that's where I'm at on the 1/100 scale Virgo right now. Again, I know I haven't gotten much done in the last couple weeks, and I apologize for that, but I am going to try and do better about working on this guy more consistently, so hopefully we'll be able to upload more of these videos in the future. So, that about does it, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.